How you doing, sausage? You look very sleepy. Hi everyone. Yeah, a bit between games this morning. I figured I might as well put the stream live because it's just faster than typing. Also, how is that floor always grubby? I don't understand. I hoover pretty much every single day. Probably has something to do with the smelly Frenchie that's sitting on it right now. Hi. Good morning, Harley. Good morning indeed. I hope you're okay. So yes, so welcome indeed everyone. Again, not sure what's going on this morning, even if it's me just bogging off to get on with editing, we'll see. So yeah, just to bring you up to speed with what's happening on that front then. So it's week number 4. Wait, sorry, my brain. Is it week 4 or week 3? No, it's week 4, but technically it's week 3 of the editing on Divinity Bullshittery Part 3. So that's an effort that's probably going to be an 8-weeker, I'm afraid. What was that? Yes? The reason for that is that the episode is quite mechanically complicated compared to most other bullshitteries, and also it's the switchover from chapters 1 to chapter 2 in the Divinity storyline, necessitating the presence of animated cutscenes and voice work, which all is just going to add to the complexity. Oh, and also it's double the length of a normal bullshittery, so yeah. Lots to do. Lots to do. How old is Lulu? She's almost 6, Beefy. You're going grey, sweetie. Yeah, getting elderly. Thank you very much, Ranko, if you can hear me. Thank you. And Gribblefix, and Adenal, and M1XNI, Sutajin, Peely, Ordinary Ollie, and Viserion. Thank you, all of you. Thank you. What's that? Oh. Yes? Thank you, Aldo West. So yes, sorry, what was I saying? So, Yeah, sorry for the lack of streams yesterday. Effectively, in the morning, I had an appointment to take the car to a nearby, well, not nearby, a garage here in Brighton, for I managed to get a puncture in one of my tyres. I left the dog alone in the flat, thinking that it wouldn't take that long. I was sitting at the garage for 1 hour and 45 minutes, just sitting in their lobby. Ugh. So I came back to a French bulldog who was very upset. She was like, "Where the fuck were you?" I was like, I'm sorry. You were annoyed because I left you alone. Yes. I know. So, as I was driving to the garage to have the tyre replaced, I also had a warning light appear on the car's dash saying, malfunction. That's concerning. So the lack of specificity there, insofar as exactly what the problem was scary enough, only to be followed shortly afterwards by a red notification, critical malfunction, stop car immediately. Oh Jesus Christ, I thought. So, mercifully, when that notification appeared, I was about 100 meters from the car garage that I was going to. So I pulled it up into the car park, expecting it to explode at any moment, only to find all of a sudden that my navigation system went offline. So the what's it called? Like the screen physically just switched off. And then my reverse camera was also on there, of course. So I was like, oh fuck. So I managed to, I thought, oh my god, is my car just about to explode on me? Is it dying entirely? So I pulled into the garage and I sort of went and said, while you're doing the tyre, could you have a look at the dash, because something's gone wrong all of a sudden. Turns out the reason is fairly mundane. I had simply driven the battery down to exhaustion. There was pretty much no charge left on the battery that's being used to run most of the systems inside the car, including the heating, because it was a freezing day. So the likely situation is that I put the heating on because it was cold, and then all I'd done is just run the battery down. So while it was in the garage, they hooked it up to their charging system, and I just need to take it for a bit more of a drive, because the reason is I really don't drive that much. I don't take my car out at all. It just kind of sits in the parking lot because, well, frankly, I kind of live in the heart of a pretty dense city. There's very little reason to take the car out, especially during the winter when there's nowhere to really go, because I tend to go fishing in the summer. So the car just kind of sits there, and I've got to make excuses to drive it. And if you live in a city, then driving a car is a bit of a ball ache. Thank you, Eduketu, Socially Voided, Basically Jesus, VZ Legend, Damray, Westy, Hyvik, and Just Call Me a Goat, and Chuggers. Thank you, all of you folks. Sorry, can you bear with me just a minute? 1 minute, I just need to wet the whistle. Thank you, Dimwit. So sorry, for the people just joining the stream, I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing this morning. I more just put the stream live just so I could say hi to folks and bring people up to speed in such a way that doesn't do it with the text. Yeah, just going to ponder and have a go through the Steam library to see if there's anything that takes my fancy. Take her on an adventure. Well, I could do Seahorse, but, well, I mean, there's parks dotted all around the place, and there's plenty of dogs that she can play with. I did take her up to the, we've got a place called the South Downs, which is what's known as the Artois Wheeled Anticline. It's basically a fancy way to say like a chalk outcropping that goes between France and England. And that's the cause of the Great Cliffs of Dover. So imagine a pack of cards, right? So take a pack of cards and then start pressing them on either side, left and right, until the middle bit bulges upwards, and then carve through the middle bit with a saw. That's the English Channel. So the saw being cut through the middle is the ocean, which is carving through the the two sides of chalk, sedimentary rock that's being pushed up on either side. My point is, one of the sides of the anticline is over here in Brighton, so you can walk up and down it. So these huge chalk hills, these sort of very, very shallow. The soil quality is horrendous. Like a couple of inches down, it's just chalk. So, yeah, you just walk up and down that. And there are huge building restrictions, and you can't really farm on it. Well, you can, but it's like at best, grazing land. So we're kind of hemmed in, really. The whole city of Brighton is hemmed in by this chalky hillside. Yes, Socially Voided. I have played Star Citizen some years ago. Cyanide convinced me to play it, and it was not ready at all. It really was very, very, very buggy, and there really wasn't much to do at all. Thank you, Pandro Car. Thank you very much, Pandro Car. Oh, sorry. Just gonna take this off. Ugh. Boop Lulu. I would, but she's quite far down from the chair, and she's just resting. Oh, fine. Oops, sorry, Lily. See, I disturbed her. You alright? I can get her some, like a tripe treat in a minute. Ah, dear. Thank you, Fellfire. Hi there, Fellfire. And thank you, Pandro and Dimwit. Have I ever had trouble with Lulu peeing on the carpet? Yeah, it happens from time to time, mostly when it's dark. So I've got the equivalent of a nightlight over next to her pad. She's got like a puppy pad with like a plastic sheeting, really, with a... well, it's called a puppy pad. It's like a nappy type material. And if she can't get out at night, then she just uses that. But occasionally... You miss, don't you? Have I ever had trouble with Cyanide peeing on the carpet? Cyanide has never been here. Although he was nice enough to invite me over to his house over in Devon. I visited a couple of years ago. It's very nice. So they live in they've got a house together. So Cyanide, super hot girlfriend. And also, how many? 2 dogs and a cat now. And, yeah. Did I pee on his carpet? No. No. Well, I don't really have much of a place to invite him to, Philippi. So it is a 1-bedroom flat, but really it's a studio flat. I mean, the other bedroom is really just a converted hallway, so it can't even open all the way without the door smashing into the bed frame. It's that thin. It can fit the bed and little else. And just my fishing gear stacked up to one side. So there's not really anything to invite him to. It'd just be one room, and we just stand there looking at each other awkwardly. Thank you, Bleach. Thank you very much, Bleach. So yeah, for the people just joining, I hope you're okay. Yeah, just pondering what to do this morning. Yeah. Cozy? No, it's not. That's the problem. So Brighton and Hove has lots of constructions from the Edwardian era, not Victorian era, the Edwardian era. So we have lots of these very old buildings which look very quaint. In fact, if you just Google image Brighton residential area, you'll see lots of sort of neat looking buildings that look tidy and nice to live in. But the truth be told, they have Edwardian building standards, which means brick, single layer, no insulation, sash windows, single pane of glass, which are listed so you can't double glaze them. So we fucking freeze. And all the landlords have taken it upon themselves to segment all of these bigger buildings into individual rooms with tall ceilings for some reason. I guess it was just the style. So now we have expensive, tiny, cold flats. It's not very nice. Indeed, Emilio, it's on the to-do list, and it's been on the to-do list for years, frankly. Yeah. Honestly, with the house thing, I'm intentionally stalling. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm intentionally stalling, for a house move would force me to have some changes in my life that I'm not really interested in having. As bizarre as that sounds. A house move would make me have to sit here and consider, do I want to stay in Brighton? It's very expensive here. I can get way better further afield, and that means moving away from all of my family, all of them. Sure, you can drive down from time to time, but there is a difference between living 10 minutes that way from your brother, your mum, your cousins are over there, your aunties, who are all around you, to hours on a motorway. And I'd find myself beached, I fear, far away from anyone I really know. Because why would you buy a house in Brighton? It's crazy. Thank you, Pulse Factory. Thank you very much, Pulse Factory. Thank you. No, I haven't really looked at it, Q-Tom. Haven't really looked at it. Not sure, Nero. I'm intentionally starving the ants for about a week or so. I just want to make sure they have no food whatsoever before I give them some their next meal. just to, make sure they're okay. Again, that's the trouble, Lieutenant Sobel. Lieutenant Sobel. Move to a different country. That would be one hell of a leap. But yeah. Thank you, Beetle. Thank you very much, Beetle. Jedron says, we tried looking at Lancing and Worthing and the house prices are not much better. Yeah. Everything's just spiraling. It's like crazy expensive for something that is not, frankly, very desirable. Or at least when I was looking. Everything looked very, very... like, there's no way this is worth that amount. That's ridiculous. Oh, dear. Twittenroo says, I was looking at a house down the road in 2005. It was £205,000. It's currently up for $650,000. Yep. So down here, the houses, which are chained just over there, like the residential houses, $1 million. Most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. If they're still a complete house and they haven't been chopped up into smaller like apartments, $1 million. It's insane. Like, you're not going to get a house, like a flat or a masonette, maybe. Yeah. Which is another, it's another fear assassin. And forgive me for saying, Mum, if you're watching, but you're no help in this regard. Like, whenever I express my fear that this housing thing can't stay, I don't understand anything about housing, really. But this is surely a bubble that cannot last. I mean, this has to crash at some point. Because people just can't live. And so there's the fear of, okay, are you going to put your money down and then all of a sudden a crash, some form of crash is going to occur, and then that's it, you're screwed. And my mum's useless because she's like, oh no, they wouldn't let it crash, I'm sitting there going, too big to fail? Where have we heard that before? Yeah. Thank you, Chivalry. Thank you very much, Chivalry. Exactly. I know. I shake my head and just go, what? And I don't blame them for a second, Anterplays. Frankly, if that's true, if you're still living with your parents, don't bemoan that. Save as much money as you can. Because frankly, the rest of us are just kind of pissing it away. Hi there, Quebec. I hope you're well. ZF Quebec is also in the chat, along with ZF Social. Quebec says, I'm stuck renting until the housing market crashes. Yeah, I'm not stuck. I was stuck. I'm not stuck, but at the same time, it's like I'm extremely nervous. I'm intentionally stalling, Quebec. I'm intentionally not moving out of fear. Thank you, Tenicus. Thank you very much, Tenicus. How would working further afield affect the work situation? It wouldn't really at all, Jedron. Me moving further afield with my specific type of job wouldn't affect me in the slightest. I could do this job anywhere so long as it has a stable internet connection and relative time zones time zones that are similar to the UK, or I just have to live on UK time zones. My fear is that the job that I have is inherently unstable and it can't be kept for, maybe it can, but I think it's a healthy mindset to say that it won't last forever. YouTubing in general is extreme. In fact, we were talking about this before I started the stream. It is an extremely unstable job, and you need to expect it to suddenly end. I keep telling that to my mum all the time. I'm like, I'm in a career that can very rapidly end. If one change in policy, and that's it, you're deplatformed, potentially. Indeed, math. I gotta assume that's sarcasm. Yeah. But yeah, one should not start doing YouTube as a career thinking that, yeah, this is going to be my life. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to make videos forever. No. Even if you're not dealing with the unstable nature, the building on sand that is internet, websites and platforms generally, you've got to deal with the fact that there is a natural churn. in people's tastes. Tastes change, tastes move on, people move on. Your subscriber list is probably not the same as it was back in 2010. You watch different stuff, probably. Not everyone. Everyone's a little bit different, but everyone has tastes that move on. So you should never expect, stability when it comes to online content creation. You just got to do your best. Take care, Bullet. Take care indeed. Indeed, Formiga. Yes, indeed. Moved to Germany, says Verstinkun. One of my brothers has already done that. I'm the eldest of 5 brothers, and one of them is in Germany. He's moved over to... which city is he in? I can't remember. I was told, and now I've forgotten it. He's moved over to Berlin. No. He's moved over to Germany. My brain went... cities. Which city? Was it Berlin? No. He's moved over to Germany somewhere. And he's living in a place with lots of lakes, apparently. Lots of canals. Does Berlin have canals? My mum was saying that there were canals. She said that she was biking up and down canals. Hamburg? Is it her? No. Huh. Venice. Oh, is Germany expanding again? they do that every now and again. They're gonna go. We're gonna go to Paris. Woo! And then off they go. Parisian border police are like, what the fuck? Oh dear. Why French Bulldog, homie? Well, at the time, I was restricted. Well, I was limited by the number of breeds I could select due to a very unfavorable security deposit clause on the flat. I needed a breed that was small, could tolerate a small flat that I live in, but most importantly, for the sake of the security deposit, was quiet. I couldn't get a breed that was going to howl. And the French Bulldog is renowned for the fact that they are extremely quiet. This dog does not bark. Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much, Mary. Virilux says, the first year of living away from my family was the scariest and loneliest I've ever felt in my life. But I'm glad I did it, because honestly it's one of the best decisions I've made. Good to hear it, Virilux Spain. Yeah, I hope you're okay. Pester says, if I'm worried about the impermanence of my career, doesn't that mean you should start putting down money for a house while the going's good? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, Pester. I don't know what I should do. I don't know whose advice to follow. I don't know who can be trusted. Sorry, yeah, what is... Sorry, it's, yeah, this was meant to be more of a chill music, but I've got some techno going on. I'm not sure, Jedron. So before the YouTube thing, as I keep mentioning, I worked in software development, specifically quality assurance. I was taking the train between Brighton and London, working up for... well, sorry, that's not true. Initially, I was started in Brighton, but then all the work dried up and you had to go to London if you just wanted to... Well, unless you wanted to go abroad. It was cheaper to do the same work abroad when it comes to software development, notably Poland and Canada. However, London still remained a last bastion of software development work, at the time at least, back in... Oh god. 2000 and... Well, at the time it was like 2000 and... I want to say 12? That might be wrong. Yeah, at the time that was true because all the big companies pre-Brexit had their headquarters in London. And so, yeah, if you were serious about doing business in Europe, you had an office in London. At least that was the going logic. Yeah. So, sorry, to answer your question. So, I don't know, truth be told. We'll see. I'd rather not go back into software development. Probably can't now, to be honest. It's an extremely technical industry. And, yeah, you can't just sort of wander in. Oh, yeah, I remember that, Anders. Yeah. Yes, I was. Yes. I worked on Republic Commando for I think it was the Xbox, I can't remember. All I remember is that we would do lots of these stress tests on the consoles. We would hook them up in different configurations, and towards the end of the testing session of Republic Commando, we would hook up all of the consoles in one big networked game, and there was always some motherfucker that got that weapon. It was some sort of homing weapon. It fired homing missiles, and it was bullshit. So all of the guys testing and going through that build that day would just run straight to the middle of the map, grab the homing missile thing, and just start shooting everyone. It was a piss take. As a result, due to these stress tests, I've had the theme for Republic Commando living rent-free in my head for years. Because that thing, so you'd have like 100 consoles everywhere throughout the office doing different things, and someone somewhere would always have the background main menu playing and just had the speakers on. So everywhere, this is what you heard in the office. Hang on. Here we go. This is what you heard absolutely everywhere, continually throughout the day for hours. It's like you're working at EA. So yeah, somebody would have that running somewhere. But yeah. Sorry, for those just joining, I'm just reminiscing and bantering about what I did before the YouTube stuff, software development work, and yeah, you just have various different games all over the place. Localization was a very big thing. So down here in Brighton and Hove, we have a very large body of students, notably European students, or at least we did a few years ago. I don't know what the situation is now post-Brexit, but it wouldn't surprise me to learn that it's lower. But we would have lots of students come on in, and that means they know English. Normally, they'd know English and another language, which meant that it was a great place to do localization, basically just translation. So your website, whatever, your app, well, not apps, there was pre-apps at that point, but your website, your game, whatever, your audiobook, if you needed it translated, you just have somebody who knows multiple languages and they sit there and do it. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Hangarona. Thank you very much, Hangarona. Sorry, I'm missing them. Thank you, Gifty and Mary and Ashbricks and Tenicas and Chivalry. Thank you. Please tell you how to convince a company that localization also needs QA. Well, quality is everyone's concern, really. Yeah, if you don't pay attention to quality with your client, then they won't be your client for very long. Thank you, Joe Bro and Kirby. Thank you, both of you. But localization was always way more specified. It was always a case of, I mean, often they would just have the copy. They'd just get the copy and then it's translate this copy. Sorry, the text. But the problem is, obviously, text is one of those things that is notoriously difficult when it comes to games development and app and mobile phones and stuff to make sure everything is displayed clearly. It's like we had like huge lists of extremely strict rules when it came to text, making sure it's presented properly, which is very difficult if you're doing localization. Indeed, which is going back, El Ganako, going back in a circle, which is exactly what I just said. It's way cheaper to do it overseas now. So you can pay localization testing to some distant country for way less. Which is why all of a sudden the work just dried up. Well, that and just testing in general. Not just testing, but all software work. In fact, yeah, you know, I would go up to like a company in London, and they would have studios in like Poland, and then all of a sudden I'm on a plane and I'm flying off to Poland because I've got to have a meeting with someone in this office over here. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, stream blocks. I mean, it's good to have localization to translate. If translated properly, you're probably spotting the toupee fallacy, aren't you? You know, localization's bad. Yeah, but bad localization's bad. Good localization, you don't even notice. Would I say that editing is a stable career? I don't know, Mr. Ivory. No idea. I have not had to stop and update the CV and then send it out to companies just purely for editing. I have no idea. Advice for newcomers trying to make it on YouTube or Twitch? Two extremely different categories. They're very, very different things, or at least in my opinion. In short, YouTube advice, ignore all advice. Completely disregard all advice, especially if it's from YouTube, because YouTube continually doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Make stuff to your own state of your own levels of expectation and just keep polishing it further. As in, you know, don't do all this bullshit about intros and outros. Don't make it 10 minutes for advertising. Don't do advertising. Don't go in there with the expectation that you're going to get anything back. Do it because you enjoy it, not because you want to be a big YouTuber. You've got to have passion for it. Otherwise, you know, years later, you're going to feel miserable. Whatever niche you're going for, maybe scope out some other areas in that community. For example, like subreddits, and see exactly what's out there now. Is there, say, an obvious gap that you can look at there? Or is something so oversaturated that you committing yourself to, say, making lore breakdowns of 40k, Warhammer 40k, would be futile because it's so well trodden that everyone's doing it that you're never going to stand out? I don't want to say don't bother, because obviously you've got to do what you enjoy, but maybe try to adjust things accordingly to make your products, your content stand out. Don't bullshit your viewers, don't pander to them, don't do stuff like fucking, you know, product advertising in the middle of it because no one gives a shit and you're just going to turn them against you. Also remember that people do naturally partition themselves into groups, so try to just calmly present content to those groups. In other words, subreddits is a good example. Forums are another. It's a bit old now, isn't it, forums? But yeah, if you have some content, just quietly make it available to that group and you might find that they're thirsty for it. Well, you know what I mean, Speedy. If you're making anything, get in, get out, don't waste their time. I know that sounds like I'm throwing red meat to the lions, but no, it is very important. If you are doing anything, don't waste your consumers' time. Especially, sorry, does anyone work in marketing? Because I continually get this wrong. There's a rule in marketing and advertising. It's the number of seconds that you have in order to keep someone's attention before you lose it. It was something like 7 seconds. Like, you have 7 seconds to draw someone onto your thing. Is it 5 seconds now? It's something, yeah, you have a set number of seconds to show them something, and then they're going to click away. If you put in an ad or a title or a logo or something like that, you fucked up. Because they're just going to navigate away. Why would they sit there watching it for more than 5 seconds? You've got to go right in, you know, start your content, go. Are you doing comedy? You start with a joke. Are you doing a breakdown on the battle of whatever, you know, from medieval such and such? Okay, say this is a breakdown of the most explosive battle in history or something. Go. That sounds a bit clickbaity, but you know what I mean, as in, say exactly what you're doing and then stay on target, and then when you're done, finish. Yeah, you've got to start with the hook. It's again, I keep, sorry, I feel like I'm continually cycling through the same points. It's the 3 T's of public speaking. So, well, sorry, that's not the 3 T's. It's tell them what you're going to tell them, then tell them what you told them, and then get out. It's stay on target, stay on point. Hi there, Birdie. How you doing, Birdie? Ah, dear. Velocity says, what if sponsors and ads were placed at the end of the video? Do you reckon it would enable higher viewer volume for the required 10 minutes? Honestly, this is going to sound pretty hostile and advice that some people are going to disagree with. You should completely ignore the whims and wishes of sponsors and advertisers. Because of metrics, when by metrics I mean success metrics. If you're pegging your success metrics, the things that you are considering when you're putting together your content around something that doesn't benefit the viewer, you fucked up your success metrics. Your viewers don't care about your adverts. Your viewers don't give a shit about the products that you want to shill them. They don't care. So neither should you. I know that sounds weird because you're like, well, you've got to make a living. Should you? When it comes to making content on YouTube? Is it about just making money for you? Surely your primary focus needs to be making something that's entertaining. If you're going in there purely, oh yes, I need to make money, I feel you've got the wrong metrics there. Well, forgive me, incorrect. Sorry, when I started, I was doing it just for fun. I was bored. I was stuck on a train. I was going between Brighton and London. I was so bored. I needed something to do, anything. So I got a copy, a totally legit copy of Sony Vegas, and I started just editing for fun, entertainment. I needed something to do. I did it because I wanted to do it, because I wanted to make people laugh. Well, there's crowdfunding. You can bypass advertisers altogether. I know we're getting down the rabbit hole of complicated shit that is never going to hold water if held to scrutiny. But no, specifically, you've got crowdfunding options that were a tip jar, effectively. Sorry, going back up 2 conversations. My point is more, if you're trying, especially if you're trying to get started, don't make your success metrics stupid bullshit that your audience won't care about. Because the moment someone stops to try and... It's the reason for... The moment a YouTuber stops and tries to do an advert, I just tune out. I just go to the video and try and cycle ahead to get rid of it as quickly as possible. And it's for this reason that they're do you remember the airplane game? You know, the one where like the baby won't eat the medicine, so you're going, here comes the airplane, and you're sort of like putting the food towards its mouth, and then as they open the mouth, you put in the medicine. That's exactly what they're doing with advertising when it comes to YouTubers, sort of like going, Napoleon keeps having his palace invaded, but he wouldn't if he had Secure Protect, the new product for... Oh, fuck off. It's the airplane game, but instead of shoveling medicine into the viewers' mouths, they're shoveling a teaspoon of shit. I know, it fucking winds me up, Lord Glassmere. I need to make a mental note of which one is the most, like, egregious example. Like, the one that does not fit at all. Thank you, Summer Girl. Hi there. Thank you very much, Summer Girl. And also, King Shizor. Sorry, I'm missing people while I'm ranting. Thank you, King Shizor, Out of Kex, Kirby One Hero, Joe Bro, Hangarona, and Jifty, and Mary. Thank you, all of you. I'm so sorry for so sorry for missing you. Sorry, I'm ranting again. I'm sorry. Thank you, Zakamir. Thank you. Oh, really? Spiffy. But yeah. Yeah, if you watch regularly, you know that I'm just cranky. I'm probably not the best person to listen to. I just loathe advertising. Absolutely loathe it. I know, Pesterbot. I know. You can't. I can't take my example and sort of copy paste it onto the rest of everything. I know. You shouldn't listen to me. I'm cranky and just someone who finds advertising disgusting. But sorry, again, go back to my point is more, if you're making any content, you should not think about the return, because if you start doing that, you start polluting your own objectives, if that makes any sense. That's more my point. Thank you, Velocity. It is Velocity. Thank you, Velocity. Exactly. Yes, Unpronounceable says it succinctly, where I'm just waffling. Your priority should be making good videos, not making money. Yeah, and if you think like that, then surprise, you'll probably make a good video. Well, I mean, no, forgive me, Birdie. I'm gonna grab you there and say, no, not really. This is the mindset that's remained unchanged since those days that I was sitting on the train. And even if I weren't doing it full time, I'd probably still be making videos, just going. Well, if I'm still commuting, because I did it purely for fun. It's always been fun. I did it for entertainment. It's not a position that I'm now holding because I can do it for a living. It's the default. I've never changed it. But I had time for that, no. I was commuting. Yeah, I was bored. So bored. Oh, on the weekends too. I did it for fun on the weekends. Got back, started editing. I enjoy it. As crazy as it sounds, I enjoy editing. It's fun. It's creative. I like it. Yes, indeed, Chandler. I had a laptop thing. The company, well, they would give us our own laptops, but they were a little cagey about letting us go outside of the company, especially if they were, well, if they had anything on them that, like, you know, they don't want any client data to leak. So I just bought my own laptop and had it with me on the train. I started watching the entire seasons of, so lots of Battlestar Galactica, lots of Dexter as well. I think it was still running at the time. When did Dexter air? Lots of different films and stuff, and then I got bored and I was like, oh god, I don't want to do any coding or anything. I want to do something I enjoy. Don't know, Mad King. Again, looping back 3 conversations. If I don't think it's a career that you can do indefinitely. Hey, sausage. I don't think internet content creation is something. Even if you do it indefinitely, I think it's a more of a healthy attitude to consider it to be temporary. How long was the train? An hour and 5 minutes on a good day from station to station. And then on top of that, there was an underground journey through the tube, and also the walk door to door from the office or from the train station to home. All in all, if everything's running smoothly, about 2 hours and a bit. One way. You can see why I was a bit bored. So all of the initial Daisy bullshitteries were me on that train. Well, and weekend as well. Yeah, that's just it's just the pain. It's just just the London commute, isn't it? Lots of people, fucking millions of people have that. I'm not just from Brighton either, just all over, all down the south coast. The trains go up to London. All from the, what are they called? Like the commuter belt areas. Everyone's got huge, lengthy intercity trains into London. It's like that Hunger Games series with the trains from the districts, basically. That's what it is. People commute from Leeds to London. Fuck. Hang on. Let's have a look. Leeds to London. What's the distance there? Nah, surely no. That can't. I mean, that's. Oh no, I suppose. I mean, that would be hell. That's 266 kilometers. Nah, I mean, really? Is there? I mean, is there a direct train? That would take most of the. Well, a long time. No, my train was only. How far? Where's. Yeah, my one's only 69 kilometers. Nice. Thank you, Amangstuck and Alex. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for saying so, Velocity. Thank you. Thank you, Vex. Ah, dear. Yeah, the commute back was always so... Oh, God. So Fridays, the commute... Oh, it was a nightmare. Because some people would just get on the train with like a pack of Stella, the wife beater, and just start sort of like loudly celebrating Friday. And you're sitting there on the train like, I just want to sleep. Oh God, the worst was a busker actually got on the train once with a guitar, and he started playing his guitar down the aisle of the train. Like, all the carriages connect with each other, right? And I guess there was no conductor because no one stopped him. Oh my God, he completely failed to read the room or read the train. Because everyone was just tired and grumpy and just coming back from the... Sorry, busker? Is that the right term? Yeah, guy playing musical instrument for change. But no, people were just... They had like... People were trying to sleep. It's an evening, like, intercity train coming back. But everyone just... in their chairs, just with their heads propped against the windows, just trying to sleep. Yeah, well, there's me hunched over my laptop, going fucking keyframing. Fuck. Oh, sorry, darling. I'm sorry. Did I wake you up? Ah, dear. Yeah, she's okay. She seemed a bit crabby this morning, so I went to the pet shop and picked up some tripe treats for her, just to cheer her up. She likes tripe. Thank you, Zero Plu. Thank you very much, Zero. Oh yeah, hi there, Zam. How's the lambing? Is it going okay? Loper Doors, my mum actually had a go at me for the state of my bath mat. And I'm like, no, I can't throw it. She's like, I will buy you a new bath mat. I'm like, you can't. You can't. It's a new bath mat. Thank you, Bido. Thank you very much, Bido. God, time flies, Zoop. Holy shit. No, I didn't hate humanity. No, I didn't in the end. Yes, the one from the video, Urban Decay. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, sorry for the people just joining. Yeah, I'm just sort of I should have got a coffee, to be honest. I fancy a coffee. Might actually pop the kettle on. I'm probably going to crack on with the editing momentarily. I was just sort of liaising with the chat this morning. I always feel really guilty, sorry. I feel like I'm disappointing you. I know that people turn up to watch games and stuff, but sometimes it's like, I don't know what to play, you know? And sometimes it's obvious because the guys are all like, yeah, let's play Rust or something. And then, okay, let's go. I'm very much a tree sort of moving in the breeze when it comes to that. If they're doing something, I'll just jump in and follow. Thank you, Sparkus. Thank you very much, Sparkus. 8 years? Fucking hell, 8 years? It's crazy. Why am I never chatting from a hot tub? I'll just squeeze it in over there, shall I? Do you think the landlord or the building management will be impressed with that? Oh dear. Unpronounceable name says, nobody comes here for your gaming skills. Charming. Thank you, Fart in Your Cereal and Lolo Saraptor. Thank you. All the best to you, Genomai. Is your workplace quite loud then? So yes, also, yesterday, I managed to get the tyre repaired. Sat in the garage for ages. Worried that there was something wrong with the car. Turns out the battery was just extremely low charged. You alright, sausage? Yeah, she's fine. Look at her. How are the ants? They seem okay, Virus. I'm just leaving them alone for the minute. Yeah. How was lockdown for me, Gendron? Honestly, fine. My career. I'm lucky. My career is such that I could stay indoors and sort of pull up the defences and just don't go out. Other people obviously weren't so lucky, so I did that. I just sort of sheltered in place. I don't know, Sam. Maybe I might just crack on with editing momentarily. Sorry. I do find, yeah, it's fun though. TFT's fun. What else did they get me to pay for? So it was just the tyre that I was there for, Silver. Social says Stanley wants a word referring to, well, Stanley Parable. At some point. Sorry, did Genomai respond? Did I miss them? No, they didn't respond. So yeah. Zam really missed the Sunday games. You haven't been able to join for weeks. Well, you're very welcome to do so. Yeah, we just kind of cracked on. Did a few games. It was fun. The dog's going grey on me. Zam, yeah, the cute videos that you sent of that feral cat. Zam Rabbit appears to have been adopted by a feral cat that lives wild and is at least a farm cat, so it's not exposed to human attention. So it appears to have chosen Zam as its property, I suppose. This human is mine. Yeah, they were fun, weren't they, Pender? All the horse games that we played, do you remember? Mountain Blade, whole load of cavalry just fighting in a whirlwind engagement. Thank you, unpronounceable name. Thank you. Ah, dear. Not sure what that is, Bacon. No. Oh, there's a new one, says Social. Ah. When am I going to get Surgeon Sim 2? I have no idea, Birdie. No idea. Ever considered doing a speed run? Nah, not for me. Thank you, GH Vag. Thank you. Wait, there's something on my screen. Veg. I'm not even sure. There was a little bit of dirt on my screen. I just scratched it off, and it was over the E, so it looked like A. Sorry, thank you, GH Veg, not GH Vag. That means something else. I'm not even joking. I'm not even fucking with you. There's a little bit like, I don't know what it is, like crusty something. Oh dear. Oh god, my dog's possessed. Briefly, I played Ark briefly, Jack. Trouble is, I joined in with the guys when they were already quite far through the late game and I didn't know what was going on. Purdy says their kitten has been using them as a jungle gym. Oh dear. Oh, I see what. Oh, well, feel better soon, Purdy. Yeah, hang on, what happened to that? Let me just have a look. Just going up to Steam, 1 minute. Whatever happened to the aisle? What's going on then? Still installed. So for those not familiar, the aisle basically had to rework everything. What's going on then? Progress. Is there like a summary? Because there's lots of dev blogs here. Yeah, seems to be the way, doesn't it, with many open world survival stuff. They rush in and then, well, I've probably got, it's complex obviously, but it's probably because they discover whilst developing, don't they? Well, they go in really, really early, so they don't have a strong idea of what they're doing. And so they often have to redo the entire thing when they have a strong idea of their direction. There was this whole video essay segment that this was one that never really got written, so it only really existed in sort of mild idea form. But I wanted to look at like survival sandbox things from the perspective of have you ever heard of something called the skateboard exercise with software development? Has anyone ever heard of that? Or if I said the skateboard, do you know what I mean? It's surely an example I've listed before. I must have explained it. Yeah, from me. You've heard it from me? Well, I got it in my training. It was a book that I was reading on agile fundamentals. So in short, basically, so you have this design. Well, you've got this agile design a set of fundamentals when it comes to software development, which is let's say so your client. I'm probably going to mangle this because it's been a few years. Your client comes to you and they want you to make them a car, right? Not well. Scrum is part of it, Sappy, but specifically the fundamentals, the agile fundamentals. Not the process. But say like a client wants to come to you to make a car, and they don't just want to go and buy any old car. They want you to custom make one. So you might be tempted to just, okay, well, 4 wheels, build this, build that, put the body on, give it to them, done. But here's the thing. What you do instead is you give them a skateboard. You give them a skateboard and you say, use this. And of course the client is going to get annoyed with you because they want a car, not a skateboard. But you explain to them that use it and then we'll capture. So you onboard them onto the process. You explain how this works. Use it for a while because truly you don't want a car. You want to get from A to B in a car. The skateboard will get you from A to B. In fact, there's a pre-skateboard stage, a bus ticket. Give them a bus ticket. So effectively what you do is you have the client use the piece of software and then you capture their requirements. You find out what they want. Okay, they're on the skateboard, they keep falling off. Okay, so let's add a set of handlebars and like a system to control it. Okay, that's a scooter. It's like a push scooter, obviously. Okay, well, they're getting tired as they use it. Okay, well, let's add a motor. Well, there you got a moped. Oh, and a seat above the motor. You got a moped. So step by step, you're sort of customizing the piece of software to the requirements as it's being used. And then, here's the critical part. You keep adding components. Okay, they're getting cold because it's cold outside. Okay, we'll build a frame around it with like a dome canopy with like heating. Okay. And then, Eureka! you find something that you didn't know about because they're actively using the software, they're showing you test cases that they could have never explained to you. For example, you find out that the reason they're going from A to B is they're traveling from their home to their job in a local university, and that university has extremely tight pavement, like paving air, basically tight gaps that a car would have never fit through. If you had got them a car, it wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have been fit for purpose, and they would have never used it. It would have just sat on the side of the road unused. Like a lot of software is made. A whole load of tools are made on a yearly basis. Millions and millions of dollars spent on tools that are never used because, well, someone made them and then they're not fit for purpose. So, okay, you give them a scooter and then you keep expanding on that idea. Okay, now it's a motorbike. Now it's a very sort of enclosed, customized vehicle that you've made for them. And that's the idea. You're not making a big list of their requirements at the beginning and then moving through them step by step to create them. You're having a piece of software that's in use and then you're adapting it over time. For those paying attention, can you see perhaps what I wanted to make the video on insofar as open world survival sandboxes? Because a lot of them are like that, aren't they? A lot of them are like that. They get their players into the sandbox and then they start adapting the software to meet the requirements of the players that are playing. They're capturing it as they're going. You're putting in challenges and weapons and just modes of play that you never started with because you're adapting to the requirements as they're gathered, because that's a good idea. That's a very good idea from people trained to do software. But here's the question: is that a good idea if you're doing an open world survival sandbox game where everyone else is doing that and there's huge competition? So you don't have a single client in a motorbike, you've got 10 million clients moving through 100 different motorbikes, all trying to do different things. Because that's effectively what we had in like 2013 to 2017, didn't we? And all of a sudden you might go, oh shit, and realize why so many open world survival games were so eclectically put together. You're like, what? Why is this in the game? What the fuck is this here for? But you need a finished bare bones product first. Well, that's my point, is that the initial launch of many, not all, but many of these open world survival games, owing to the creation of Steam, so you can reach your customers directly, and the early access tag, were incredibly bare bones. They were bus tickets. And so now you've got this crazy, weird sort of collection of different games that are wildly different from their beginnings. Exactly. As Halling, sorry, is it Haling or Halling, darling, says, one of the issues with Agile workflow is that lots of customers can come in with mutually exclusive ideas. Exactly. Nail on the head. Perfect. Which is exactly what happened. So you have a survival sandbox game with all these people coming in with completely different ideas of how a survival sandbox game should go. Who do you listen to? Who the hell do you listen to? And that's the exact problem that Bohemia ran into when they started working on their standalone. Thank you, Elch. Thank you, Elch, for Po32. Thank you. The one that you want to play in is a good answer to that. In fact, Straw, that sort of like, I'm bending my point a little bit, I apologise. One could argue that they kind of did that because all of a sudden, when the standalone was released, it was very, very similar to its initial incarnation, wasn't it? With the initial DayZ mod under Dean Hall, and Dean Hall was working for Bohemia, so it does look like they were kind of sticking to one sort of like an auteurs idea, maybe, of what it should be. But the trouble is, the market had evolved in lots of different directions, and lots of things were gaining huge popularity at the time, like 2014, 2014. You remember base building survival stuff in 2014. You remember how omnipresent it was. So many games. I mean, can you list them? Can you list open world survival base building games? Because there were a lot. There were so many that many of them don't... Well, they're just vaporware on Steam these days. Every other week there was something coming out. And then crashing. Thank you, Kicking with Fists. Thank you, Kicking. So my point there is that, you know, do you follow the vision of one of the game that you would like to play in? Like an auteur's vision? I suppose it depends entirely on what your metrics are, isn't it? As in, what are you going for? Is it purely just money or what? Sorry, I'm waffling. Anyway, sorry, the point is, yes, in software development, the skateboard exercise is a good way to describe how a lot of people have been trained when it comes to software development. And is it a good idea for gaming in general as opposed to small clients? Sure, it's just an analogy, Tasty Nugget. It's just... Oh, I see what you're saying, sorry. You're saying that it isn't a tool like a skateboard. So through that, you're saying that it has lots and lots of hard-to-gather requirements? Yeah. If that's your point, I'd agree. Completely, yeah. It's difficult. Beef Champion says it's a terrible idea to rely on customer feedback only. You should have a vision of your own. Yeah. But then again, don't. In the case of DayZ, standalone, be careful if your vision is drastically behind the innovations that have come afterwards. I mean, hell, when fucking I think I made the point in that last DayZ video essay, didn't I? In that by the time the standalone hit the market, it was already way behind even DayZ vanilla mod servers who have added lots of plugins and stuff for things for players to do. Which meant that people got into the standalone and it was a case of, there's nothing to do. There's no missions to do. There's no bases to build. There's no random drops that could appear via airdrop. And what is she doing? At the time, there were no cars. You know, you couldn't put one together, and even if you could put one together, where would you drive to? Yeah, I think she's sort of drifting off, isn't she? Oh god, her eyes are open, that's creepy. For a game, it's also good to know what the fundamentals of fun is and how to access that. If it's not fun, then why play it? And also, M3, you've got the problem of people have different individual tastes when it comes to what they get out of gaming. And a lot of them are mutually exclusive. Games for some people are totally different than others. As simple and as simplistic as that statement is. Like someone who is into Morrowind games, which are heavily about immersion and sort of moving around a world and poking it to see what happens, would be completely disinterested in a game that's a test of reflex, like, say, the Souls series, where it's a case of the challenge. It's a test. It's all about a test. Where you've got to, dodge, remember moves, retaliate in time, know the mechanics, ruminate on them, understand them completely, and then execute them. If you're playing something like Outer Wilds, that's... No, you don't want that. But it's more like the whole thing is a test. If I've got this correct, sorry, incorrect being, the whole nature of it is that the individual, the world itself is a test. The whole world is a big test. As you move through it, you're being continually challenged, tested, and then overcoming it is that sense of elation. That sort of, I've done it. I've been challenged by the literal world itself. In the case of huge, like, entities that have existed since blah 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 time. Thank you, Katie? Siskatty? Thank you very much. Thank you. But yeah. Is she awake? Yeah, she just woke up. Well, yeah. I mean, coffee. At the same time, I think it's just that sort of reputation. It's a reputation that's it's easy to explain, isn't it? Challenge in a game. It's something that seems. It's fairly easy to explain. It's harder to explain more abstract concepts about games to an audience who are perhaps not familiar with it. Why are people into Dark Souls? Oh, because it's difficult. That's easy. That's easy to pass on. But the truth is a bit more complicated. In that its universe is one that is both a test to you, but also apparently, I'm just using talking points from a YouTuber called Mr. B-Tongue, it's also super indifferent to you, which is another selling point for many people who are into it, in the sense that yes, mechanically it's a test, but also the world doesn't care. The world doesn't care if you live or die. It has no malice, it has no particular dislike for you in particular. When a mob slays you, they just ignore you and go back to what they were doing. You are not important. You don't merit the hatred of the setting. You're just another doomed soul making their way from fire to fire. And that stands in sharp contrast to many other game experiences that you can probably list. You're the chosen one. You're Commander Shepard. You are the most pivotal piece on this chessboard. Whereas, Dark Souls, it's a case of no, you're just trying to stay alive. Oh, I wasn't trying to, Grayman. Sorry, I'm going to crack on with editing momentarily. I'll bog off soon. Yeah, I would agree with that. COTC? Yeah, I'd agree. Well, sorry, my question was more like, is it even a good idea? Can you apply those principles to mass market stuff? I don't know the answer. Yeah, Fuzzy says, the player lives in the world, he is not the world. Yeah. But here's the thing, try explaining that quickly to someone who's not into it. You see the problem. It's easy to communicate, well, people are into Dark Souls for the challenge, for its difficulty, rather than the contrast that it has in the context of storytelling in general, and fantasy stories and their tropes. Someone would look at you like, what? What does that even mean? Thank you to Sando. Thank you very much to Sando. How would I rate Silent Hunter 3? No, it's immersion. It's immersion focused, Smackin'. If anything, it's a sim. Yeah, genre-wise, it's a sim. So, yeah, naturally they tend to trend towards immersion. Rarely does a sim game, very, very rarely, does a sim game ever wink at you and go, I'm a computer game, wink. Have a box, open this, it's got a skin in it. It's extremely rarely that makes it into the design philosophy of a sim. Thank you, Sando. Thank you very much, Sando. But yeah. Zephyra? Yeah, so I've got footage for one last CSGO bullshittery. And then I've got plenty for armor. It's just a question of, when the patrons and the Twitch subs would want it. Also, hi there, Mad John. Sorry, I'm leaning on the desk, and that's why the camera's wobbling. No, Kiko, I've got it in my Steam library. I keep saying I'll play it, and it's a rainy day game, Elite Dangerous. No Man's Sky's development has been interesting. Yeah? Yeah. As I've been doing what I've been doing for quite a few years, do you feel strong to continue doing it for, say, 5 years ahead? Yeah, so far so good, Jonathan. Yeah. So long as I do think I need to take a few more breaks here and there. I find myself, well, you've clearly noticed, I turn into a bit of a stress bunny towards the end of any given project. Yeah. I think I just need to. Hopefully it'll be nicer in the summer now. Now that warm weather's coming, I can go fishing and just try to not look at screens all day. Thank you, it's Jordan. Thank you very much, it's Jordan. Thank you. Sorry, is it too loud, Maisie? I will pop it down. Right. Okay, so a few more minutes and then I'm going to bog off and get on with the editing. Yeah, sorry for the not very interesting stream this morning. Probably about a week, Joranthar. There's too much to do. You've seen the backlog. There's massive amounts of games that people are waiting on to be edited. Hi there, Quasar. Welcome indeed. Yeah, she's happy. Well, I think so. She was a bit grumpy this morning. If I could experience any game for the first time again, I'd like to do Outer Wilds again. Portal as well, and Portal 2. Yes, if you've not had a chance to play Outer Wilds, I very strongly recommend it. Read absolutely nothing. In short, it's a first-person story mystery game with I'm trying to basically you play as someone who's an astronaut going into space, and I can tell you nothing more than that. It's very, very cool. Not really Fire Whisper. The discipline doesn't really overlap all that much when it comes to software development, quality assurance, and the specifics of it. It doesn't really map onto editing. Yes, just me. ZQ Vis. So yeah, just me editing away. Yeah, it's very good though, Volatile. Yeah, I mean, it is too much, isn't it? I mean, it's not. Here's the trouble: it's not just the VR setup; it's the PC as well. It's crazy. I think that's ultimately going to be the main roadblock towards VR technology. It's the fact that it's just so damn expensive to get into for so few games specifically. Yeah. It's just not ready. The trouble is, though, is the technology just going to be not ready for forever? Owing to the fact that the components are expensive? And probably just going to stay quite expensive? Take care, COTC4X. Have a good one. I hope so, Duckslayer. Yeah, Half-Life Alyx was incredibly good. Elf says our ants in the lab committed suicide. What? They did what? Are they alright? Well, if not, is the colony alright? Quebec says, I find the comfort problem to be a VR block. In what manner, sorry? As in having to stand up all the time and get tired? Please explain, Quebec. What is your perspective? Not sure, Bearsy. I don't think I have the perspective to be able to tell you the answer to that question. I don't know, Code. I can't remember if I've updated them in a while, sorry. Well, we'll see, Oigi. I mean, will that be true, or will the people who have that technology continually try to push it further and further and compete with each other? Well, I don't know. Quebec says, can't game in VR for nearly as long in VR. Sorry, can't game in VR for nearly as long in VR as on my PC. I start to feel it in my neck, and I feel like my head is being microwaved in the headset. Yeah, I get nauseous. I flat out get sick. I'm moving around, and I try to move my feet as best I can, but I just get sick. Yeah. It's for a short bursts only, really. But yeah, some games where there's lots of motion up and down, as well as side to side, and my legs aren't moving, God, I feel like I'm just going to hurl. Really quickly. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago when I tried Subnautica in VR. Oh my God. I was like full on 20 minutes in, head swimming. Quebec says £2,000 for maybe 1 or 2 hours maximum a day of use. It's a bit rough. Yeah, agree. Yeah. I try to, occasionally I would sit there and put the VR headset on and just try to like use the virtual desktop thing to try it. I tried to do editing at one point. I thought this could be fun. It was a gimmick. Honestly, the level of precision that is necessary for anything work-related, I just can't get with a VR headset. Why? It's not the screen. It's me moving my head. As crazy as that sounds. I found that the motion of my head back and forth, and having to reset my vision and adjust looking at something on the VR screen, it took that just an extra second, like an extra second here and there. It slowed everything down. Not to mention me trying to find the keys on my keyboard. Like, wait, okay, this key, that key. Felt like I was elderly. Because I don't have the keyboard in my peripheral vision. I've got a huge headset on my entire head. Thank you, Pierre, Timons, and Spawns a lot. Thank you. Also, Quebec, yeah, I mean, the thing that I really lament is the fact that because it's such a hassle to get set up, it's very difficult to get all of us together to do stuff. Not that there's even lots of stuff to do, but it's a bit of a pity. I would love to have more games of, say, like, weirdly, Pavlov in particular. For some reason, I find, well, just me personally, but I find that the VR Counter-Strike is really good. It's so much more engaging than normal Counter-Strike. That element of having to physically reload the gun and fuck it up gives a level of tension that the base game doesn't have, which involves you just pointing your crosshair at a pixel and you will hit. All you have to do is just overlay it. Throw your grenade up with your mouse cursor over the door frame and it will land. In VR, you got to throw it. You got to physically throw it. You better be good at throwing in real life because you're going to be throwing shit in VR. And so as a result, the games are way more chaotic. It feels like you're in a fight. Like fighting in Mirage on the A site or wherever. People are running back and forth from cover. Grenades are pinging off terrain that would never normally ping off. Someone charges through the smoke like a berserker with a blade coming straight at you because it's a one-hit kill. If he can touch you with any part of the blade, he kills. So he comes screaming at you. And it's just really good. You're like, wow, this is so much better than normal Counter-Strike. Thank you, Milton. Thank you very much, Milton. Quebec says I get very motion sick, but not in VR. I was acclimatized after regularly using the Oculus Dev Kit 1 as an Xbox controller in college before they figured out the lenses. Thank you, Milton, T-Mons, and Pierre. Thank you, all of you. Mega says, I can't stand Pavlov. It's too derpy. Is it? It is a bit derpy. Bit rough around the edges, isn't it? But still, I found it quite exciting. But all of these games, all of them in VR, just have nothing on Alyx. Absolutely nothing. Boneworks came close, but even still, I think it needed more work. But yeah, I just feel ruined. Like Alyx has ruined VR, as crazy as that sounds. See, that's what I thought too, Mega, but so it's not. I'm trying to sort of collect my points in a certain way. So it's not just that. It's more that in Boneworks, you would move through a level, and you got the intense idea that okay, they'd put this level together and they'd tested it, but you didn't get the feeling that their vocabulary was such that... I'm trying to find my words correctly. It's almost as though they didn't understand how games work, in the sense that when they transport you to another... Okay, right, so back to the beginning. So you're in the lobby area of Boneworks, right? And you're moving through shooting these like security droid things that are there to stop you, and there's a track playing in the background. This track. Where is it? Is this the one? No, that's not it. That's the other one. Sorry. Boneworks. Let me just play this track for you. House of Monogon, is this it? No, that's the rave. I think it might be this one. Might be this one, forgive me. But anyway, so you're moving up this lobby structure as you're ascending it, climbing all the way to the top, and this thing is... And it sounds like a banger, doesn't it? And you're like, hey, this is kind of cool. Okay? And you're moving from door to door and room to room. And this track is going. Now, what if I told you that that track never stops? It loops continually all the way up through the tower. And so by the time you're in the upper levels of the tower, oh my god, you're sick of it. It won't stop. But more specifically, that's not my critique, sorry. My critique is that it never stops ever, even when you move into rooms where it's not appropriate. For example, you're clearing the lobby and you're fighting the security things, right? And then you move into a room and you find like something, I don't know, like a dead employee or some indication of something dark. And the player's looking at it, and you've got this. It didn't feel like Boneworks knew what it was doing with its tone, but more specifically, it's more that it felt like these assets were together and they weren't sort of working together, they weren't flowing, whereas you're in something like Alyx and you're moving through a sector, and all of a sudden when it gets dark and scary, music cuts out, or not music, but you know, like ambience cuts out, goes silent, you hear like a scream in the background. It's like all of these little things have been put together to sort of heighten the believability of the world, if that makes any sense. It's the immersion in Alyx was heightened in such a way that it felt real, like you were in it. You were standing in front of the, like, sorry, a specific example. Do you remember in that bit when, no spoilers for Alyx, but do you remember when I left that horror bit? Do you remember? Here it is. Hang on. No. So I'm in that vodka factory, and I've just managed to escape the you-know-what, okay? And I stagger out of that tunnel. My heart is going. My heartbeat is going crazy. Oh, that one, sorry. Where is it? Sorry, apologies. I should have. Wish I had this ready beforehand. Which track is it? Here. So, I escape the tunnel. I plunge out into like a main central room with all these dead antlions around, and it's quiet. And I just look up to the sky, and the sun is setting. And in the sun, suspended in the sunbeams almost, you see that vault that we're moving towards, closer than it's ever been. And this track starts playing. And I don't know if you remember the live stream, but I found my air conditioning and was overheating, and I knelt down in front of it, and what you didn't know is that I had actually fallen to my knees. I was actually sitting on my knees in sort of stunned shock and just resting in the... It was like a moment of respite with this track. And afterwards, you turn around, go back into the building, and it stops. The track stops, and it's back to the horror show. And I, in fact, went back out again, and the track starts playing again. So the developers, I presume, obviously it's just the ambient noise for that room, but the tonal difference between the areas has been counted for. There's not like a goofy soundtrack that's playing all the way through for hours and, well, for the whole segment. Irrespective of what you're looking at, me crouching on my carpet, sort of staring up in VR at the vault, which is getting so close now, you're so near the end of this adventure, and you've just had the shit scared out of you, and you're sweating, and you're just on your knees in your living room, going, what the hell is the vault? And it was flawless. It's so flawless, and it's hard to explain. It's this, it's all of these pieces that are working together. What is the term for it? Is it Gesamtkunstwerk or something? You know that German word? Was it Bach who said it? I can't remember. Basically referring to how an opera, with all of the individual parts of an opera, the singing and the props and the sets and the music, all of it can come together to perform this sort of thing that's greater than the sum of its parts. And that's what Alyx is. It's greater than the sum of its parts because all of these things work in complete tandem. So, sorry, Gesamtkunstwerk. Yes, it's an opera term. In harmony, yes. And the immersion, and the result is just an extreme sense of immersion. I mean, you saw it, so forgive me, you saw it in the game. Did you see me, like, speaking and moving my body as Alyx was talking? Sometimes it wasn't flawless, but I felt like I was there. I felt like I was Alyx. And at times it was so flawless. But yeah, so it's, mechanically speaking, Boneworks was there, but all of the parts were not working together as well. Sorry, that was a kind of like unprepared sort of waffle, but yeah, you didn't have this song, hang on, playing all the way through. the horror section, and then the rest section, and then the horror section. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So Boneworks was good, but it wasn't fantastic. It wasn't an Alyx. Yeah, you heard it, poet. Yeah. If anything, I feel disappointed. I can only really apologise. What happened at the end of Alyx is that I got that I had something wrong with me, so I actually got an illness right at the end of the potential playthrough for Half-Life Alyx, and I wasn't bedridden, but I couldn't use my voice, so there was like a week and a half gap between the last stream of Half-Life Alyx and the stream before it, and the problem was I spent that entire time. Don't check the internet. Don't check the internet. I wouldn't read anything. No comments, no nothing. I would not go to the soundtrack. I didn't want to spoil anything. But do you know what I did? I went through in my brain. My brain was just going, just thinking, okay, what could this mean? What could that mean? You know, what does this encounter mean? And so as a result, I went into the finale with a sort of mental, just fucking, like, flowchart of all the potentials that it could be. So I didn't spoil it, but I kind of like I wish I had jumped in and not have thought it through as carefully. I went full on like hiatus brain on it because I don't want to talk about it more because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't done Alyx. But yeah. Ah dear. It's fantastic though, really, really good. Sorry, also, yeah, I just saw that message from before. Was that not the track that I was just playing? Which track was it that was playing in the lobby? Sorry, I might have actually fucked up. Was that not the Boneworks music? Which one was it? Not that. Was it this one? Maybe it was that one. I can't remember. I might have actually got the tracks wrong. It might have been this one, sorry. Still, really cool soundtrack. Strongly recommend. Oh, sorry, is that the climbing music? Sorry, another one. Yeah. Ah dear. Anyway, sorry for the waffle rambling stream this morning. I definitely need to go and get on with work today, so I'm gonna go and get on with Divinity. So is she still playing? 1 second. Is Maya still playing Zomboid? Sinai's super hot girlfriend. No, I think she just finished. That's a shame. Okay, hang on a minute. Who's playing what? So yes, I need to go and work on Divinity bullshittery. I've got lots to keyframe and edit today. I also need to get my fat ass out for a jog because I'm feeling chunky. Right. Hang on. So, Sheep is doing some Mordhau right about now, and Edberg is doing something called Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I don't know what that is. I'll leave you in his company then. Oh, sorry, it's Borderlands. Ah, okay. I'll leave you in Edberg's company, and you can see him play Tiny Tina's Wonderlands then. So, thank you again. Have a lovely afternoon. Hope to see you again soon. And, I'm going to crack on with Divinity bullshittery and see how it goes. Thank you again. Have a lovely afternoon.